Did you know that most men quit their fitness journey 2 to 6 weeks before seeing the real gains? Bruh. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you why this happens, how to break through plateaus without burning out or starting over. All right, so we're going to break this video down into 4 sections. Section 1 is going to be lies that people tell themselves about plateaus and why they're experiencing plateaus in their fitness journey. Now, for most people, they think fat loss and muscle gain is linear, like it's a straight line. If I go to the gym this amount of times in a month, I'm going to lose this amount of body fat and I'm going to gain this amount of muscle and my strength is going to increase by this much. And that's just not how it works. And you cannot compare someone else's gains, whether it's muscle gain, strength gain, or fat loss, to your own, because you're literally dealing with 2 metabolic, biological different creatures. The way your small intestines processes the food that you eat and the diet that you're having versus that other person, you don't know what they're eating, you don't know at what times they're eating, you don't know what vitamins they're taking. There's so many variables to consider when we're talking about a fitness journey that it literally makes no sense to think about, focus, or even look at what anybody else is doing. Another thing is people obsessing over the number on the scale. This is why so many people get discouraged when it comes to plateaus, because that number on the scale that you're seeing is literally just one small metric. If you're relying on the dopamine that you're getting from this journey on just one variable, one factor of progress, which is the weight on the scale, you're doing yourself such a disservice, because there are a multitude of different variables and metrics that you can be using to measure your progress, whether it's physiological, like actual physical results like circumference measurements, testing your body fat with a body fat reader, progress photos. These are all physiological metrics that you can use to measure whether or not you are progressing or not. But then there's strength gains. Are you increasing in strength? Is your endurance increasing? There's so many. I'm not going to go into all of them. That's a separate video. Let me know if you want me to make that video on the different variables. But you cannot just trust the weight on the scale. One, because your weight is constantly fluctuating. And I guarantee you that most of you are not measuring your weight at the same time. In the morning, you're fasted, there's nothing in your system. So naturally, and then especially after you pee, you've already let go of that excess amount of water. So the weight's always gonna be less first thing in the morning. This is why coaches usually tell people, measure your weight first thing when you get up after you pee. But if you measure that weight 6 weeks from now and it's after a long day, you had 3 or 4 meals plus snacks plus drinking liquids all day, it's going to be much more. So you want to be consistent with that variable. So if you're measuring your weight first thing in the morning, that should be the time you always measure your weight. In section 2, we'll be discussing specifically why men quit. And there's 3 core reasons that I found in my experience as a certified coach and trainer why men typically quit their fitness journey. Reason number 1 is they expect for motivation to carry a lack of discipline. You expect that feeling that you got initially, maybe it was in January, to like keep pushing you, but it doesn't. Motivation comes and goes. It's an emotion, just like you're not always angry, you're not always happy, but systems are put in place to keep you on track. You'll definitely hit a plateau if you just work out or exercise or eat right when you feel motivated. But when you have a system in place, like you have a program that you're following, or you have a specific set of macros and calories that you're supposed to hit, that is structure, and that structure is put in place to get you from point A to point B. And if you're in your fitness journey now and you don't have that structure, I'm a NASM certified personal trainer, and by the time this video comes out, I will definitely be certified as a level 1 precision nutrition coach, and I can help you with all that. So you can hit me on Instagram, call me Mr. V, and just let me know what you need. If you need help with nutrition, you need help with fitness, or you need help with the whole journey, I got you. This is another one. This usually happens with newer lifters, is they confuse discomfort with danger. The first time you feel fatigued, usually when you first experience what's called DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness, it sucks. You know, you never train your legs like that, your quads are tight, your hamstrings are tight, you know, you're having trouble walking down the stairs, it sucks. I get it. But it's important for you to get outside of your comfort zone. And it's also important to test your limits. What happens usually is people try to hit the ground running. You have no experience going hard, but you got this burst of energy, and maybe you try to lift more than you were supposed to, and you got smacked in the face with reality, and now you're backed off. Obviously, if you were working with a coach, you would start where you are and progressively increase. Unfortunately, with men, our egos get in our own way, especially if we're lifting with friends. Our ego will tell us that we can lift more than what we actually can, and you can't. Everything should be progressive. So if you can only lift the 10-pound dumbbells, then you lift those 10-pound dumbbells as hard as you can. And then the next week you come, you do the 12.5s. And then after the 12.5s, you do the 15s. And that is what progressive tension is all about. Starting where you are and building up from there. All right, so now in section 3, we're dealing specifically with data. As men, I think it's always important to be data driven. So the more metrics you can have, the better it is for you. So I'm gonna go over some data points. First things first, it's very important to remember that muscular hypertrophy typically shows after 6 to 8 weeks, but you should always think in quarters. Quarters about 3 months, about 12 weeks. So whenever you're starting a new phase of training, you should think it should take me at least a quarter to see any visible or physical results. Another thing is, when it comes to data, here's a few things you want to keep in mind. You don't want to only be tracking physical metrics. You want to be tracking things in the gym like RPE. RPE is your rate of perceived exertion. How difficult is it for me to do incline chest press at 50 pounds? If on week 1, it feels like a RPE 9 or 10, which is the most difficult, to do 10 reps at that weight, and then in week 3, it feels like a RPE 6, but you're still not progressing in weight, but at 50 pounds, instead of a RPE 9, it feels like a RPE 6, that is progress. But if you're not tracking that, there's no way to know. That's why it's important to have a coach that's asking you these questions, that's tracking all that information. Section 4 is the last part of the video, how to actually break the plateau. So when you hit a ceiling, what you need to do to actually adjust and keep on climbing. The first thing is to track your performance. If you don't have a coach, you should be doing this yourself, either on an app. Sometimes you'll see a guy with a book in his in the gym. Whatever you can do to track your progress, because this is going to be the data that you need to overcome these plateaus. So what exact metrics should be measuring in the gym as it relates to muscle hypertrophy and strength? You want to track your sets, how many reps you're able to get for any particular weight, the load, which is the weight that you're using. You want to also track your recovery. How long is it taking you to bounce back to the gym, to get over those delayed onset muscle soreness feelings? These are all things that you want to measure, because it's going to allow you to overcome plateaus. Sometimes for a lot of people, they're overtraining and they don't even know it. And it might be just a case where you need to take a few days off. And believe me, there's been times when I was just trying to hit the gym 5-6 days a week, going hard. And after taking like 3 days off, when I came back, my lifts were so much better. So a lot of you may need to reevaluate how you're training. Time under tension. This is a little bit harder, especially if you're training by yourself, but I have a general rule of thumb when it comes to TUT or time under tension. I'm usually doing the 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi model. So for different lifts is a different time under tension, but for me, generally for most lifts, I'm thinking 2 to 3 Mississippi. So on the concentric, when I'm pushing up, I'm explosive, and as I'm coming down and the muscle is lengthening, I'm counting. And if you do that, that'll allow you to increase the tension, which will result in more muscle. And then the last one, like I mentioned, RPE, rate of perceived exertion. Track over time how difficult each weight and each exercise feels. And those are just some of the ways that you can track your performance in the gym. Sleep is another one. A lot of lifters avoid sleep. Sleep is probably one of the biggest keys when it comes to training and building muscle. You need to get enough sleep. Stop looking at your phone an hour before. Read a book before you go to bed. Set an alarm for when you wake up and for when you go to sleep. These are all things that you can do. Stay long enough to let adaptation happen. So like I mentioned, I usually like 8 to 12 weeks, preferably 12 weeks is enough time to see some type of change, either physiologically in your body or internally with your strength. Put it in your head, I'm a man that sees things through, and for 8 to 12 weeks, this is how I'm training, this is how I'm eating, this is how I'm sleeping. After those 8 to 12 weeks, then you reevaluate. If you need a break, then that's fine. But dedicate yourself to actually seeing those 8 to 12 weeks through, because that's the type of mentality you need to not only progressively overload, but to overcome plateaus, because that's what this whole game is. When you're trying to add muscle, you're trying to increase strength, you're hitting a ceiling, you're trying to break that ceiling. You hit a new ceiling, you're trying to break that ceiling. And that's really it. I wanted to make this a quick, valuable video. This is a topic that most people struggle with in the gym. Just remember that men don't fail in the gym because they're incapable. It's usually because they quit right before they hit that breakthrough point, or it's because they don't have a system in place. And for me personally, anytime I found that I don't have a system in place to hit a goal, I'm like wandering, and you don't want to be that way. So have a system in place, and if you need a system to actually follow through and hit your goals in 2026, comment or leave a DM. I am now not only a NASM certified personal trainer, but I'm also a certified nutrition coach. So I can help you with your nutrition. I can help you with your fitness. I'm also an award-winning bodybuilder. So whatever you need, I'm here for you. If this resonates with you and you're ready to commit, let me know. Hit me up on Instagram. And if you like this video, just leave a comment. And until next time, your insecurities. Peace.